Hi! Welcome to Luxury in Moderation, where we appreciate the finer things in life without going overboard. Today I'm very excited to reveal the mini Lindy that I got in Singapore last December. And it came in this box, but it's not in this box. So let me just reveal the bag first and then we'll get into all the details. So this is the mini Lindy that I ended up with. As I mentioned in my last video, this came from a reseller shop in Singapore and it is pre-loved. So let me get into the price point, what I got with it, all the details of the bag, and some first impressions I've had since carrying this bag. First thing I wanted to share is that it came with the full set, which means I got the original box, I got the original receipt, which is in here. I got the original dust bag and everything matches up basically. The serial numbers and everything, it's all supposed to show how authentic this bag is. The other thing I mentioned in my previous video is that the reseller store I got it from is a Japanese store, so I do believe in the reputation of the Japanese seller. So first, this box has the tag of what the bag is, and this is actually the first time I've received a box with this tag on. Usually when I purchase from the Hermes store, they tear that label off, so I don't have the original label. So this says that it's a mini Lindy in Cherilon Clemence, so the leather is Clemence. It's in a color called Blue Du Nord, which is, as you can see here, kind of like a very bright sky blue. Then it has the serial number S/N. So that, and then it also has a picture of the mini Lindy. Of course, this picture looks like it's one of the bigger Lindy sizes, not the mini one, but there you go, there's the original box. Next, inside of this envelope, which is the envelope from the reseller store, I have the receipt from the store. I paid 10,300 Singaporean dollars, and that ended up being, I'll put it on screen what that equals to in USD, but that was within my budget. So I think my budget I had set at 12,000 Singaporean dollars. And then you have the Hermes receipt here, so they provided this to me. I shared in my last video that this bag came from China, so I know the exact store that this Hermes receipt is from, and I actually also know the name of the original purchaser. So it's kind of just like a peace of mind thing to have these things. I think they can still be faked, so honestly it's not like 1000% foolproof, but it is nice to know that, you know, it came from a real Hermes store, or this receipt looks real to me. You know, I'm not an expert, but that's just what I think. So now let's get into the bag specifics. It does have gold hardware, and that was one of the things that I really wanted, so I'm really happy about that. Now, as I did mention, this is certainly pre-loved, because if it was in brand new condition, I never would have gotten it for that price point. It would have been at least 6,000 Singaporean dollars more. I think the bag was originally purchased from the Hermes store in 2021. So by the time I purchased it last December, it was already like 2 years old. So that's just something that I have to remember, and I'll get into that in a second. But there's actually a little mark right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera. Maybe it looks like someone's fingernail cut into it, or basically it's just not that bright blue color. It's so tiny, I really don't think it's going to be an issue at all. And it just proves that, you know, it was pre-loved. Someone did carry this, and you know, it still looks beautiful. It still looks in great condition otherwise. You can see the rest of the bag. There's really nothing. I inspected it before I left, but of course I don't know what a brand new mini Lindy looks like in store. I've never been offered one. I've never seen one in store, so Honestly, I can't tell if like this is normal wear and tear on the corners. I don't know if it originally looked like this or if it looks like not brand new. To me, it looks perfectly fine. And they even had the original stickers on the turn lock. So I have a quick video of me actually taking the sticker off myself. So a lot of the hardware was protected. I actually took off the sticker here because it was getting in the way of me like locking the bag, and I didn't want to deal with that. I don't know how the original wearer person dealt with that. On the inside, there's actually some staining, so it's not like mint condition in here, but again, it's on the inside. No one's ever gonna see it, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't even know if, like, there's like a mark right there, right? But even like this, you can't see anything. I kept the sticker on for this round hardware part, and then over here you can see the Hermes Paris made in France embossing, and that is the bag. So that concludes the unveiling portion of this video. Now I wanted to get into my first impressions and kind of like a mini review, because I have worn the bag several times already and I wanted to share some of what I've learned if you are interested in a mini Lindy. The first thing that I learned is not to hold it like this. The larger sizes, of course, that's how you're supposed to handle the Lindy, but because this size is so small, it is hard to squish. Now, I know some people do like this slouched look, but I think for most of us, in terms of the mini Lindy, we kind of do like that box shape. So I've had to get used to not grabbing both handles. I mean, it's kind of hard because they're kind of far apart anyways to grab at the same time, and that's why you end up squishing it. So I've had to learn to just grab one end, and it's going to be kind of off balance for a second, but that is also because I want to keep the shape of this boxiness. Another thing that I had to remind myself is, of course, that this bag has been used already for 2 years. I don't know if the previous owners used it a lot or a little, but because it is in Clement's leather, which is a softer, heavier leather, it is slouching immediately, right? It's like, I don't know if I had gotten this 2 years ago from the store, if it would have all of these slouch lines, but I have to remember, it's an older bag. It's already gonna have some of that worn in look. The place where I see this most is on the top here, where there's like a bump and a slouch here. I don't know if it's like a good way to say it. See, you can kind of see the wrinkle from the inside, but basically it like there's a bump here and then like it kind of goes in here. So again, I don't know if this is a function of like trying to grab it like this or how that came about, but it's just not perfectly straight. You can see like from the side angle that this is also maybe just coming out a bit as it slouches down. So because of those things, I did end up getting a insert for the bag, and I ended up getting this Zoomoni one. So this is the first time I've ordered from Zoomoni. I picked this sky blue color, which, you know, is pretty close to the mini Lindy. I figured that I wanted to get a color that sort of matched because I wouldn't be doing up the zippers all the time. I'd probably at most do the turn lock, and so maybe you could just see the inside from the side zipper part. Now, I got the Zoomoni organizer pretty quickly, much quicker than I expected, so I'm really happy about that because it does ship from Korea and it got to me no problem. They put it in great packaging and it does fit inside. It's just a touch small. So honestly, I think I would have liked it to be just a bit wider so that it could support the sides a little bit more. You can see here, like if I push it up against the front, the back, there's actually a little bit of a gap right here between the organizer and the back of the bag. But of course, I also know that they don't want the organizer to be too big and kind of push up against the sides of the bag. So I do think that it still helps support the structure of the bag so that, you know, there is something inside of there so that the bag isn't just collapsing in on it itself, especially because when I store this mini Lindy, I do tend to, you know, do up the lock and the zippers. So there is quite some weight on the front here, which is naturally going to have this kind of wrinkle, or it's just gonna put some pressure on the front of that leather there. The other thing I noticed about using the mini Lindy is that it is not as convenient as the pochette métis, which is my everyday crossbody. And that's for two reasons. First, because the straps are attached to the handles in a very specific way with a very specific direction. You know, there is the loop here, which goes along the tracks of the handle back and forth. And so it gets kind of awkward if, for example, like right now, one strap is caught on the front, one strap is caught on the back of the handle, and then you're kind of at like a weird angle. You have to really adjust it so that it's both in the middle or it'll get caught, you know, on the sides somehow. But the strap is very comfortable and, you know, I think it's worth dealing with that. The second thing is that the turn lock is a touch finicky. You know, the hole for the front is obviously fitting for the turn lock, but you have to get the right angle to get in there, which it's not, you know, it's not perfectly forward, it's not perfectly up, it's kind of at an angle, so you really have to find the right angle to slot in that hole. So I would say that when I use my pochette métis, it's super easy. I kind of just click it in place. I can do it with one hand, no problem. For the mini Lindy, if I have this crossbody, sometimes it does take quite a while for me to align the turn lock into the hole, or I just, you know, have to use my other hand and really align it together. So I would say it's not as convenient to use, and the experience is not as seamless as when I use the pochette métis, but it is a very adorable bag that I think is pretty cute. It's pretty low-key. If you don't know that it's an Hermes mini Lindy, there's no markings on it. It's all just leather, and wonderful leather quality at that. So it just seems like a very adorable bag. So I don't think that it shouts Hermes. Even if you were an Hermes lover, it's not like it's a Kelly or a Birkin. I do feel like I can take it more places during the daytime. It's very casual. I think it fits into a lot of situations. And the inside is super spacious. It can definitely fit enough. I have the iPhone 14 Pro, not the Max, so not the biggest iPhone. And it doesn't slot in, like the opening isn't big enough just to like put in. You do have to put it in at an angle and kind of like shift things around in there. So again, that kind of contributes to it not being the most seamless experience. Sometimes I'm just like struggling with my phone to put it in there for about 5 to 10 seconds, but it will fit. So that was my mini review of the mini Lindy, and just sharing about, you know, the quality of this secondhand purchase. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I would love to be a resource for you. I am very, very happy with my find, and I hope to wear this for many, many more years. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye!